Are you still wondering which app you should be using for invoicing and quoting? Well, in this video, I show you which one I've been using for 7 years as a plumbing contractor. Welcome to the Plumbing Gurus. My name's Karsten. On this channel, we strive to save you money and keep you informed on all the proper plumbing practices. So I've decided to go through and create a playlist for you guys on the back end of how I run my business. So I want to help you. If you have any questions at all, I'd love to hear your questions, or maybe you have some tips for me too. I'm constantly learning, constantly changing the way I run my business, asking other people, asking other contractors. I got electrician buddies, contractors. I'm always asking them how they're kind of like doing their quotes, their invoices, how they structure their business. It's always kind of a learning curve. So it's a great thing to do, to ask questions for people. It's the first thing I can kind of advise for you to do, is ask constant questions to other people that have been doing it for a very long time, because it's a great way to learn. I learned personally by just doing it and asking other people how they've kind of been doing it, and learn from them by watching them do it. And make sure you're asking the right people. Don't ask somebody that's had a failed business or anything like that. Ask people that are successful, people you want to emulate, things like that. So what I want to do is create kind of like a playlist of all the different things. We're going to have a bunch of videos that are of kind of like what software I use or app I've been using. That's what this one's about, the Joist app. This is what I use for my invoicing and estimating. I also want to be able to create a video of how I'll go through like a step-by-step of how I quote my jobs, how I invoice them. I'm gonna have kind of like just a bunch of different videos. I also have a quote template that I've created. That's going to be a big one. I'm going to be working on it in a future video here. I also will be selling this quote template. I've put a lot of time and effort into this over the years. I've spent countless hours looking for other stuff. Without further ado, I'm just going to jump into showing you which app I use here. It's called Joist for contractors, and it's a great app. Let's jump right into here. So I just started a whole new account here. I didn't want to really go through my list of contacts and all the addresses. I just want to keep things as private as I possibly can here. So I'm just going to go through and I'm not going to do any mock-ups on this one. That'll be in a future video. So stay tuned to this playlist. I want to help you guys with kind of staying organized as much as possible. I know for me at the very beginning, I was searching for this type of content on YouTube all over the place, like how to quote, how to invoice. Nobody's really willing to share this information, so I want to be able to do that. I want everybody to succeed. I'm not here to compete with people. Like, I have friends that are plumbers and they own their own businesses. I'm all about helping each other out. We work with each other. We help each other grow. And I think that's the way people should start thinking, instead of this old mindset of like, oh, keep it to yourself kind of thing. So let's just jump right into here. Right here, you can see here you can put your logo here. So if you have a company logo, which I think you probably should, if you have a company logo, just get your PDF or PNG or JPEG, whatever it is. You just load it into there, and that would be under, I believe it's under settings. So you go to settings, you go to my company, and then right here is company logo. So you drop your company logo in there. Down here, you type in your company name. Let's say it's the Plumbing Gurus. That's not my real company. 56898. That's not a real phone number. And then in here you can put your address, your city, your state, your country, your postal code, your business tax information. It's kind of nice to have that there. I put my GST number for us wherever you are. If you're in the States, I don't know what it is you use, but if you want to put your tax number in there, we have to charge GST. Every time we send an invoice, we charge GST, which is 5%. So if people want to see your GST number so that they know that it's a legitimate thing, you put it in there. Company email, plumbinggurus@gmail.com, and whatever your email may be. You can put all this other information in your website if you have one. Your industry, that was already filled out when I first signed up, so they know you're a plumber. If you're some other contractor, all the different ones are in there. There's electrical, HVAC, general contracting. It's really good for trades, and that's what this app is actually meant for. But right now, we are on the free version. There's a few different things here. So if you go to Joist Pro, it wants us to save. Sorry, we'll save there first. So if you go to Joist Pro, it wants you got to pay for it. So I've had this for about 7 years now. When I first got it, everything was free, and that was about a couple of years ago. I think they switched over and started charging. So I got like a good 5 years of free of everything working really good. But then they added in QuickBooks Sync. That's probably the biggest one reason I pay for it now. And I think I pay $120 a year annually, US dollars, I believe. That's for the Pro. Then there's the Elite, and I think that's about $300 a year. And the Pro, I like the QuickBooks Sync, the PayPal. You can get payments with PayPal, but they do charge I think it's like 2.83% or something like that for credit cards. So I don't usually offer the credit card to people unless they're willing to pay that extra 3%, because that's just money out of my pocket. That's how I structure. You can easily just add it on every invoice, where you just add that extra 3% and nobody kind of sees it. It's just kind of in the back end. That's how you want to structure it. And if they pay credit card, you can do that too. And then there's a reports thing. So like this just gives you like annual and monthly and reports, and it kind of just keeps you updated on your analytics and things like that. It's nice to have. I don't personally pay for the Elite, but if you do, you get all of this stuff. It gives you all these cool reports and things like that. My wife personally does all that stuff in QuickBooks, and we have kind of everything documented in there. I do recommend using QuickBooks too, and maybe we'll do one of those. I'll have to get my wife to do that one. Again, so you come in here, yeah, you got your payments here. This is where you set up your PayPal account. If you have a PayPal account, you set it up here. You can see here when you send an invoice, they can fill out their credit card information, and they pay with PayPal. It used to be called WePay, and I wasn't a big fan of the WePay, and I'm glad they went over to PayPal because it's a little more trusted, and PayPal has been around for a very long time, so you know you can trust PayPal. And then it goes directly to your PayPal account. And then with my PayPal account, I have it set up so that it just automatically goes into my bank account, and I don't have to do anything. So it's right there, but you do lose that 3% transaction fee. If you don't want to lose that transaction fee, I usually just get people to send me an e-transfer kind of thing. All these different things. So document settings, you can do your payment terms if you want to be paid in 30 days. I keep it at 0, so I try to just get paid as soon as possible kind of thing. And then there's the footer message. This is just on each invoice. It'll kind of show up a little note for them. Taxes, so like you can add a new tax. We have so GST is what we have. I do GST, and then 5% is what it is, and then you can add that to each invoice every single time. And then contracts, you could write out a proper contract or just keep it generic like this. By signing this document, the customer agrees to the services and conditions outlined in this document. Generally, that's more of like if you want to really get deep into contracts, you can. I don't personally, I just keep it at generic for myself. QuickBooks Sync is really nice. I do highly recommend it. If you use QuickBooks, it automatically syncs it with QuickBooks, and then it just makes it so much easier. I don't do any of my bookkeeping. My wife does all that, so like I said, I'm going to try to get her do one of these videos and show you how to properly use QuickBooks. I got to convince her to do that though. So then we go into clients. I don't normally add clients specifically here, because every time I do an invoice, you can just do a new invoice, and then you can add a client here and then type their name in. So like John Doe, and then you type out their email address. You fill out all their information here, and then you can start adding line items. So this is really nice. It kind of like just separates everything. You got invoice 1, so it kind of keeps track of that. And when you add line items, so you can call it whatever you're doing. I can do, let's just say like plumbing service or like a garburator. Say you're doing a garburator. Garburator is probably not how you spell it. And then right here, it's nice. You just click on GST and it automatically adds your 5%. Then you just say install garb, whatever it is that you're doing. This isn't really how I would normally do it, but, and then let's say $250 for your garburator. Well, it automatically does subtotal down here, and you can add markup if you want. You can add a discount. You can request a deposit, you can do a payment schedule, and then it automatically adds your GST, and your total is right there. And then you can do all this other stuff like show your client signature, your signature. You can have notes in here like includes removal of old garb if they have an old one. If you want to put photos in there of some stuff, you can. I think that's part of the Pro, I believe it is. Yep. I've never needed to use photos to do anything like that, so I'm not sure if that's something you do or not. But again, so then you save. This is not how mine would normally look. I just am throwing one together. And then here, I don't normally like to do the quantity rate. You can if you want to. If you want to do things by hourly, you can do the quantity and then your rate, $90 an hour, $100 an hour, $80 an hour, whatever it is, and then subtotal. I usually just turn off those. I go display options and I just turn them off and I have a total. So it's nice that way. You just have a garburator, install the garb. Probably want to put a little more detail into your descriptions, but I'm just doing this for these purposes. And then it has everything. This is nice. And then with your logo, it looks good. And then all your proper information, it just looks like a good, well laid out invoice or estimate, depending on what you're doing here. So if you jump over to estimates, it's pretty much the exact same thing, just in an estimate formation. So if you're, depending on how you're doing it, if you're doing bigger jobs, doing lots of estimates, you want to go through and do some detail. Again, I'm going to do a full video on how I do my estimates, so stay tuned for that one. So that's pretty much the gist of it. And then as you keep adding things, this goes right into your items here. So now you got a carburetor. So every time you do a new estimate or an invoice, you can kind of like lay out all of your different line items. So you got carburetor, say you're doing like a new house renovation, or you're doing a hot water tank, or you're doing, depending what you're doing, depending on whatever trade you're in, you can organize these line items however you want. And again, I will go through and show you how I have done mine, but this is a great thing because now it's like every time you do a carburetor, it's already, the rate's already there, the description's already there. All you got to do is put in your new client's information, or maybe you're doing an existing client and then you go to my clients and then, oh look, there's John Doe. He's already filled out, his address is there, and this is real nice and it's very efficient. I really do enjoy using Joist. I haven't personally tried anything else. I got this app pretty much right when I started my company and I've been using it since, but I've had zero issues. Tech support's always been good. You click over here, you have an issue, you ask them a question, and they're usually very quick to getting back. I actually just asked them a question today about doing an affiliate for this, so I'm not an affiliate because they don't offer an affiliate program. I just actually really like this program and I want other people to, be able to use it. The support is awesome. I do recommend using that. If you have any questions, that's the best place to go. They've always been very quick to answering and I've never had an issue in that department. The other really nice thing about this app is it's on phone too. So I use it on my iPhone. As I'm finishing a job, I generally will go back to my truck and I'll go onto my phone on my app and I'll fill out the invoice. And instead of having like a paper one written out to the client, I go and just fill it out on the phone. Sometimes you can send it right away and go get payment right away, but I usually, most of my clients I have existing and I trust them. So I just email it to them. On my email, it says specifically in there, thanks for your business, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, if you want to e-transfer me, it has my email there. It tells them how to e-transfer me properly. And that's how I get paid. They usually pay instantly. And then when I'm doing bigger quotes and I'm working at home on my computer like I am now, I'll use the desktop version. So this one was just a little bit of a walkthrough. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave comments. Join our Facebook group, The Plumbing Gurus. Come in there and ask us any specific questions. If you have questions for me on how to use this, you can ask me. But again, your best bet is to go to the support help. They're very helpful that way to set things up. But it's all pretty simple and basic, and that's what I like about it. So again, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. And if you guys are enjoying this type of video and you want to see more, please let me know what you would like to see, because I would love to put some content out on the different aspects of the kind of the back end of the business stuff. Again, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.